but I'm going to tell you. Okay, we're back to the website. If an agency does not respond to the request in the allotted time, the request is deemed denied, and you have the right to file an appeal with the Office of Open Records. And then it tells you how to file an appeal. An appeal is just very basic, and I'll explain that in a minute. Okay, if the agency asks for an extension of 30 days, they're going to put some reason in there like it's a complex request. They don't have enough people to answer your question in a short amount of time. Go back to your calendar. Okay? Go 30 days from that date you gave it to them. And that's going to take you into February or whatever month it is. And you mark on that calendar the day you're supposed to get that request. Because the day you don't get it, you're going to need to file an appeal. They may try to ignore it twice. You might get lucky and they're going to respond. Now, anytime they respond to your request, whether they deny it or grant it, they have to include this information in their letter. Now, here's an example of a denial I received. And it says, if I don't agree with what they're telling me, that I could file an appeal. And this is where you file an appeal in Pennsylvania. And they know you're not an attorney and you don't know all these complex things. You just come up with a reason why you think you're entitled to this information. Remember, you don't really have to say why you want to know anything. And you just have to tell them that you think you're entitled to it under the law. And you file an appeal here. Now, once you file an appeal here, they have 30 days to give you an answer too. And a lot of times, if you want to know an example of the kind of decisions that are filed in appeal and are judged upon, I'm going to show you that. Okay, we're back to the Office of Open Records website. You're going to come down here to Final Determinations and give it a click. Now here's a list of all the things that were appealed. I actually have an appeal that part of it was ruled in my favor on this list. This is the list for the whole year. Now this gives you the kind of request that someone appealed. Someone wasn't given information they thought they were entitled to. And these are a list of the appeals and what the Office of Open Records had decided. And it is surprising to see some of the things that they granted in favor of a citizen. But then again, it's surprising to see some things that they wouldn't grant. And it is just full of so many interesting things to read. And what you can kind of do is kind of look through the list and see if there's a case that may pertain to you. And it's just a wealth of information. And it lists the township. It's going to have your name in the case and how it was ruled. So you need to keep that in mind. If you're the kind of person you don't want your name on a website somewhere, this might not be for you. But my advice is to do it, and don't let these, if you think you're entitled to something and you see a similar case here, go ahead and file your appeal. Like one of the main denial things that I see is the township may say, well, we're not required to create a list where none is already, you know, we're not required to create a list that doesn't exist of something. But that does not mean that that information isn't somewhere already written and they just don't feel like finding it. So you may ask for a specific policy on something or whatever, and from what a lot of this I'm seeing, see here's one here where volunteer fire department is considered subject to this law that was passed. And you'll see there's, remember, not to research legal, criminal cases and things here. You know, but you could ask like a question that may be of a similar nature about something, but not necessarily a criminal issue. That's a whole separate entity. Okay, now if you win your appeal, the township government or local agency has to give you the information that you requested and that the Office of Open Records has decided you're entitled to. If they don't want to do that, they could be fined like hundreds of dollars for every day they don't comply with that order after a 30-day judgment is ruled. Or the agency can pursue it to Commonwealth Court if they feel that the Office of Open Records made a mistake. But, you know, pursue your case. If you think you're entitled to something, this is how to do it. And I kind of hope I covered that. Some of the issues are, you know, don't go down asking for a form. Get the form off the website. And it's on the website that the agency has to accept this form. They can't turn around and go, that's not our form. We have to do our form. Oh, and the charges for that. I almost forgot. Years ago, I did one of these requests, and they just came up with some off-the-wall charge, $17, $20, some ridiculous amount. By law, they are only allowed to charge you between 10 cents and 25 cents per page. Of course, most of them are not going to be kind and go 10 cents. They want 25 cents. But they cannot charge you anything beyond that for simple copies. And if you want to just look at it, I don't think they could charge you at all. Now, of course, if you want certified records and, you know, this sort of thing, they may be able to get a little more out of you. And if they want to, if they, you know, to mail it, they could actually charge for the cost of a stamp. But it's only 25 cents per page. So you can get quite a few pages of information, and it's hardly going to cost you anything. Now, okay, I'm going to start to wrap this up. Maybe in a future video, I'm going to go over some of the cases that I went through specifically that would include denials and eventually me getting my information and things. If you live in another state, I wish I could help you. I only know the one here in Pennsylvania. Remember, go to Yahoo, type in Office of Open Records, Pennsylvania, and you'll come right to this site. We are the people. Go ahead and do it.